its land rent by tooth and claw.
You know. And I've had enough of this rabble. Come on!
As the chaos spread, the stars seemed doomed to unravel, and yet there were those who stood in defiance of that fate. It's all or nothing. Will our heroes deign to play their part? You took your time. 'Tis as we feared. The respite afforded this land was but fleeting. The end draweth nigh.
While the world is lost to ruin.
It would. Come what may, we shall live on. We must.
Do as you must then, but we scions will fight until the heavens fall, until our last breath.
Past the far
So a lot of stuff makes more sense now. Sorry if there's a lot of background noise. We're getting work done on the house. Um, this is going to be a very short episode because I'm doing this before I go to work. Um, so a lot of things make a lot more sense now that I've played through the game. So let's get started. Sapphire, do you have time to talk? I would like to gather everyone in Dawn's Respite and together assess the situation we found ourselves. Let us take stock of the facts, shall we? The crisis at hand began with the sudden appearance of the ominous towers in a multitude of locations throughout the world. We have since learned that said structures were brought into being by an organization known as Telephoria. It's weird having the faux Roi in there. Telephoria stated purpose is to recreate the final days of eons past in an apocalyptic event that would result in the destruction of all we hold dear. Already have these towers of theirs been the cause of untold suffering. So it's interesting, they're literally trying to create what happened in Amarat. Countless citizens kidnapped and imprisoned, their faith perverted for primal summonings. And unless we find a way to deal with the corruptive aura surrounding the spires, we can't even get close enough to rescue anyone. Those shielded with the blessing of light seem to be able to resist being tempered, at least. But after what happened to Arnvald and Ferdola, we need to be very, very careful about how we proceed. Yet, while these threats close to home are of paramount concern, we mustn't lose sight of the situation in Garlemald. As you know, the Telephorii are under the leadership of Fandaniel, one other delightful fellow, Xenos. I am not even going to try to say his last name. Crown Prince of our dear friend. To date, he's reclaimed his old body, murdered Emperor Varus, and plunged Garlemald into an even deeper pit of chaos. The capital has probably seen the worst of it. For a good while there, it saw the bloodiest fighting in the War of Succession. But that has since changed, and in troubling ways. During our reconnaissance, the air was not once rent by the barking of cannons or the cries of discord. 'Twas an eerie fog of silence which did blanket the ruined city. The inhabitants appear to have been tempered, and with nary a word spoken did they labor to transform the palace into some soaring edifice born of nightmares. If they were indeed made thralls, it seems safe to assume that these events, too, were orchestrated by the Telephorii. An army of primals is awful enough, but in light of recent events, I fear it is only the prelude to even greater catastrophe. We need to devise a means to counter this threat, and quickly, before our allies are overwhelmed. We will find a way into Charlian, I'm sure of it. Master Fortunate's comments regarding the final days were curious, to say the least. The Form knows more than it is letting on. Kryl? That's Taro. Sorry to interrupt. We just received word from Mistress Crow. She says that arrangements for your visit have been made finalized. You're to head to Laminsa, and board the next ship bound for Charlotte. And on arrival, present yourselves as associates of the students of Baldessian. Come to assist the Order's restoration. That actually works, because Graha. Not so much for Estinian. These arrangements may be settled, but what of your thoughts? They must race at the prospect of returning home after so long. I'm eager to see it, of course. Of course, we should set off at once. Then I'll accompany you to the docks. You need at least one person there to wave and cry and wish you a safe journey. Aww. I may have to go a different route. Not gonna lie. Like, all this worked out so far. I don't need that. What is my gear rating? Okay. I'm just gonna switch the glamour palette. But I want to see how this is gonna look. I mean, I could go this route with it. Not that. Definitely not that. No. No. Okay. Like, I did use it for crafting. Like, I'd love to go... I don't think Monk would look good with it, though. Because the only other class I could be... actually would be Dancer. Yeah, I'm not going Bard. I could go Dancer with it. But that's not a... thematically, it just doesn't look good. Neither does Summoner. I think I'll just... Part of the reason why I want to stay... I don't know why I'm going outside, but whatever. Yeah, see, I kind of want to just change the look of it. Flip the glamour palette to, like, this. Is that how I came across? Oh, I know how I came across this. New student of Daldessian. But he's also a monk. Oh, I do kind of like this look, though. I'll eventually change it back. I am not feeling this look. Wait. Okay, whatever. We'll stick with this look and give it a bad boy look. I am trying to get. I am trying to put a piece together a different look, though. Like, kind of a general look. There's, like, one look I kind of want to get that's really, like, more or less, quote-unquote, cobbled together. I just gotta do a little more crafting in order for it to look the way I want. And it does have a bit of a casual feel to it. Everyone just looks so fancy. And you got me here looking a little too modern. Whatever. Everyone's here, which is good, because I've already paid for your passage, and the fee is non-refundable. The ship for Charlene should be pulling into port soon, so please follow me and have your luggage close at hand.
They've almost finished loading our cargo. We should be ready to depart right on schedule, or so I'm told.
Excellent. 'Tis nice to have a smooth beginning to one's journey, at the very least.
It's funny. Master Louis Soir came here on a ship very much like this one. And now, years later, the street urchin he befriended that day is bound for his mentor's homeland. With his mentor's grandchildren, no less.
Aye. 'Tis upon reflection that every twist of time's river and fate's whims are brought into sharp relief. Thou hast matured much in the intervening years. Wert thou not caught attempting to relieve Master Louis Soir of his purse scant moments after he made landfall upon this dock?
I love the whole...
Oh, really?
Oh,
Now that's a tale I'd like to hear.
Will this be your first visit to Charlian, Sir Estinian? Sir Estinian?
Are we strangers newly met? Why this stiff formality?
I, merely meant it as a professional courtesy, since we are now colleagues in an official sense.
I'd rather you dispense with the sirs, especially in private company. Or I'll be forced to respond in kind, little Lord Alphino.
You've made your point, Estinian. Painfully well.
Okay, that's funny.
Better.
Are you all right, Tataru? You seem positively distraught.
Distraught? Me? Don't be silly. I think it's lovely that they get to see their homeland. It's just... we're trying to thwart the schemes of an army hellbent on destroying the world. And, once again, I have to stay behind and worry that this is the last time I'll get to see my friends. hold you to that.
Ah, good. You're still here.
Hori! Coulternay! What brings you all this way?
We're to assist the Maelstrom and the Kobolds with a lunar primal operation, so we thought we'd see you off before heading to the tower. Flamine and the others wish you all a safe journey, and promise that they'll look after things here until you return. We will too, of course. Aye. We, your fellow Scions of the Seventh Dawn, will do our part to ensure the end of the world won't happen on our watch.
We're set to sail! All aboard for Charlian!
It's time.
Then we must delay no longer. We will contact you the moment we learn aught of value. Wish us luck.
Have a safe journey, and please, please, be careful.
And so you venture forth unto the unknown. A fate beyond the horizon that cannot be divined. A future undefined and in flux. In uncertain times, naught but the simplest words of wisdom will suffice. That which lives is destined to die. Love leads to loss. Every beginning has an end.
Okay, so I'm wondering, is this either Xenos or Vandam?
Treasure every moment, every step of your descent. And there, in the depths where souls and stars rest, find your truth.
Here. Feel. Think.
The day has barely dawned, my fellow earlier riser. Though we're hardly alone in that. Envious of those still sleeping soundly, no doubt. Called out to you, you say? I've heard nothing myself. In any case, I dare say the sea air will do you good. Why not join the others on deck? Charlian should be coming into view at any moment.
My voice yet reaches you. I am glad. Hear, feel, think. And thus do we meet face to face at last. My warrior of light, guided by the crystal. After your sojourn in the First, I believe you have your answer.
I just realized Heidelin has a mask as
You
well.
have gained an understanding of what I truly am. What Heidelin has always been. A primal. Zodiac was created to forestall the apocalypse, which threatened the ancient world. And I was brought forth to bind him. Yet 7 times now, those who would orchestrate a return to that bygone era have rejoined a shard to the god I had sundered. The greater his strength grows, the swifter does mine own diminish. The power to draw your mind into the rift betwixt is no longer mine to wield. Yet though it taxes me sorely, I dare not leave these words unsaid. Even bereft of my guidance, you and your companions have accepted the burden of this star's troubled past. A conjunction has begun to form, an intertwining of your time and mine. Wheels shudder and turn. Conflict looms. Monumental. Which will decide the fate of this world and all life upon it. When you truly understand what is at stake, and your journey has prepared you to surmount the insurmountable, then shall I honor the promise made in another time, another age.
Cast your peepers to the fore, folks. Sharlian's just over yonder.
I will not keep you further. Your traveler's heart must yearn to behold this unfamiliar land. We shall meet again, and soon.
This is going to be a very interesting expansion. Like, we finally met Heidelin in the, well, face-to-face.
Oh, what a fine morning. Oh, still a bit stiff, though.
And a good morning to you too. Taking a look at the island already?
Then let's go. Let's go! Might still be room in the prow if we're lucky.
Ah, the sleepers have arisen. There she is. Good old Sharlian.
Oh, I see it.
Home. Home at last. Well, maybe not in Father's eyes, but we'll manage on our own, if we must.
You do know you're not alone in this, don't you?
Indeed. 'Tis as Sir Estinian said. Forget not the comrades who boarded this ship at your side, I prithee.
Thank you, my friends. We are ever grateful for your steadfast support.
Upon arrival, we will be disembarking into the heart of Sharlayan proper. There is no greater concentration of wisdom in all the world. I am confident that somewhere within that center of knowledge and learning, we will find the answers we seek.
Sharlayan, the solitary island nation of the northern seas. Where under the watchful gaze of Thaliak, patron deity of scholars, academics hoard all manner of knowledge and secrets. Once, they deigned to accept foreign students into a distant colony maintained in the Dravanian hinterlands. How swiftly they abandoned it once the first Garlean boot set hostile foot on Alamegan soil.
Okay.
So averse to the prosecution of war, these men of wisdom, your would-be allies.
Okay, so old Sharlayan makes more sense now. Or, no. Huh? New Sharlayan makes more sense now.
I thought they'd never let us off the ship. What's next, then? Entry applications?
Hopefully they find no cause to deny us.
Hasn't Sharlayan all but severed relations with foreign powers? Those of us without direct ties, myself included, may be refused outright.
'Tis true that, as a nation, Sharlayan only forms trade agreements with a select few neutral countries. But from a practical standpoint, an island cannot afford to be overly strict with its borders, especially not if that island's people are wholly devoted to the accumulation of knowledge. If one submits the proper paperwork, with satisfactory evidence of identity and intent, then foreigners may be granted entry.
May.
Quite. So let us be absolutely clear on these points before we proceed. The immigration officer will ask for your affiliation and your purpose of visit. Considering Sharlayan's views on intervention, I strongly suggest we avoid any mention of the Scions. Kral has laid the groundwork for us to act as associates of the students of Baldessian, and our ostensible reason for being here is to aid in their order's restoration. Grahatir, it might expedite our progress should an actual student be seen at the head of our little group. Would you mind leading the way?
Of course. The immigration officers were this way, as I recall. Shall we? Greetings. We've just arrived and are eager to make our way into the city. Would you be so kind as to process our entry applications?
Certainly. I see by your mark you are an Archon.
I am. Grahat here of the Students of Baldessian at your service. I was assigned to an Eorzean survey team, but have returned to assist with the reformation of my order. My associates here will provide additional support.
Very good. I have paperwork detailing your group and its scheduled arrival for today. And it seems some few of your companions are also Archons. If you'll step forward, we can process those applications first.
Ishtola rule.
Interesting. So it's I have a feeling this is a bit
See
of a
how it glows? That list is etherically linked with the citizen registry kept in the main repository.
I've confirmed your status as Archons and amended your travel records accordingly. Welcome home. Now, who do we have here?
Alphino Leveilleur.
And Alizé Leveilleur.
Your applications have also been approved. Having said that, the streets are abuzz with talk of how House Leveilleur's lord disowned his young progeny. And while such personal circumstances constitute no reason to deny you entry, I urge you to avoid exacerbating your present situation. Times are quite troubled enough already.
We shall keep that in mind.
These last two are not Sharlayan natives, but you will find their credentials are in order. An application was made in advance.
Name and occupation?
I think I'm gonna go with artisan.
Indeed. Your profile describes you as an adventurer, but one also trained in the rather more constructive pursuits of procurement and production. You may enter.
Sweet.
And you, sir?
Estinian Valino, formerly of the Order of the Knights Dragoon in Ishgard.
Formally, at least. And what, pray tell, is your profession now?
If you'll allow me... My associate is a mercenary, hired for his strength at arms. Surely you are aware of the dangers we often face on our forays into the wilderness.
Mistress Baldessian, if you insist on sponsoring his entry, then so be it. But while I appreciate that desperate times call for desperate measures, I find your choice of company concerning. Be advised that even a single misstep may have severe repercussions for your organization.
I have every confidence in my chosen company, dear and trusted comrades that they are. But I thank you for your concern.
Oof, this seems like this is going to be an adventure of red tape and... Ooh.
Croyle! It is good to see you.
Likewise. Long voyage notwithstanding, you all seem none the worse for wear. There is much to discuss, but this is hardly the place. Let's be on our way, shall we? Oh! Welcome, friends, to Sharlayan.
As your mercenary, I should hope my welcome includes a generous salary.
Well, I had to say something, Sir Taciturn.
Okay, so first things first. I switched over to Viper. I had thought to launch directly into an explanation of what I've learned and how we might proceed. But this is Sapphire and Justinian's first time in Sharlayan, and the rest of you, a homecoming was long overdue. You must have places you wish to visit, and people are dying to see. Therefore, I propose we postpone our agenda so that you all have sufficient time to recover from your journey and get your bearings in the city. Once you've settled in, we can reconvene at the Baldessian Annex. How does that sound? It's a fine suggestion. May not be welcome at the Levier estate as such, but I should like to nose around the neighborhood all the same. I'm equally untethered, as it were. There is no particular place that my kin call home. Still, I would not pass up the opportunity to reacquaint myself with the city. Likewise, a quick tour of our old haunts might even yield some useful gossip. The annex is west of the Aetherite Plaza, wasn't it? I shall join you there anon. Yes, see you there. I too have places I would be remiss not to visit forthwith. By thy leave. What of you, Estinian? My services as a guide are yours for the asking. That won't be necessary. Until we reconvene, I prefer to wander as the wind takes me. But I could... Oh. Well, Raha, would you like to join us then? You've been gone for quite a while, and this would be a perfect way to refresh those dusty old memories of yours. Oh, of course, if you will have me. comes at Fire Charlian awaits. After you, my friend, I am more than content to follow your lead. Earth, all set. Then let us be on our way. Our first stop, amusingly, will be the last stand. It's a cafe on the west side of the harbor. And here we are, the last stand. I've mentioned this before, but although our research of nutrition and food preparation is quite extensive, average Charlian tends to regard flavor, seasoning, and flavor with a certain indifference. How can I put this? Food is... it's bland. Also, as encapsulated by your infamous Archon our infamous Archon loaf, the prevailing sentiment towards cuisine is dietary value first and taste a distant second. There was one pupil at the stadium, however, who could stomach the schools and super meals no longer. He quit his lessons and poured all of his savings into building a proper eatery. And so the last stand came to be. It is, as the name implies, the sole dedicated outpost of the fine dining Charlotte. The one and only bastion of culinary arts in an isle that is otherwise mediocre fare. I seem to recall their burger being hailed as one of the most impressive things on the menu. Not that I ever had the pleasure of eating one myself. Because you were a typical Charlian when it came to cheap and convenient. Raha. But surely Taro has since taught you how to appreciate a well-prepared dish. We should all stop in when time permits and sample the cafe's delights. Shall we press on? Up the stairs? Oh gosh, just... ugh. The stairs to the side of the cafe there will take us to the 8th Rate Plaza. Oh, this is what happens when you get tired and you wake up from a nap. You're like, I'm just gonna hop on. So these first 2 videos are just going to be short. Stupidly, insipidly short. Okay. There's a lot of exposition to dump on this. An unusual shape, isn't it? I assure you, however, it is perfectly functioning E3. Remember to attune yourself to it before we move on. Now, being the diligent tour guide that I am, I should make mention of the confluence, the research facility located on this very plaza. It is much vaunted discoveries are the reason Charlene stands above the forefront of teleportation technology. In deciphering the underlying principles of Alec Aetherites, it allowed us to understand the reconstruct what was essentially necessary and well started. And off we go to the next destination. Our path leads us northwest to Agora. Agora is Charlone's largest market. Welcome to Agora, where you can find the wares made in Charlene, as well as a wide selection of imported goods. They also used to sell questionable prototypes of various research institutes, but I think their practice has thankfully died out for the most part. Otherwise, I can think of no better place to stock up on the next big adventure. I'm reversing. On a more serious note, the next stop on our tour is one which is particularly relevant to our ultimate purpose here. Let's head back to the Ferry Plaza and follow the path north, then climb up that set of stairs to that imposing building at the very top. Yeah, it was a bad idea to just hop on because I am exhausted. I am probably going to put this in like multiple pieces. I'm trying to keep myself awake. It's so hard to do right now. This grand structure before you is the Rostra. The name refers to the original public platform erected here, upon which the forum is elected representatives would deliver oration and debate policy. Although the stage has since evolved into council chambers, the nature of the forum and its duties of its members remain largely unchanged. Am I boring you, Raha? You seem awfully distracted. Apologies from here to the entire city spread out below. The Vista put me in a mind upon my rival in the Firs. Those who had gathered at the Crystal Tower asked me how they might go about building a new home. Naturally, my answers were all inspired from my knowledge of the finest settlement I can think of, the great city of Charlene. And bit by bit, those few buildings grew to a town, a community, the Crystarium. I can almost see its echo. I see. Feel free to come up here whenever you wish. I don't think the councilors would object to you enjoying the view. Such memories should be treasured. For now, however, the tour must go on. The spectacle of sightseeing concludes with the fitting name Journey's End. Walk down the stairs to the east and continue in straight. where are we going? That way. Thanks. This neighborhood home is home to the highest echelons of Charlotte society. I never did feel comfortable enough to wander these streets on a whim. Before I journey us in, history tells us this is where those who put ashore with Archon Yoon Crypt built their first homes. In the present day, it serves as a residential district for the most important officials and the oldest Charlotte families. You'll see that one mansion is clearly larger than its neighbors. That estate belongs to our friends from House Lavier. All things considered, we should probably keep our distance for the time being. And with that, that brings our Charlian tour to a close. I hope it was proven to be an entertaining and enlightening experience. Now we should head directly to the Baldessian Annex. You remember the way, right, Raha? Don't you, Raha? Let me think. We head down towards the harbor, cross the bridge to our right, and then follow the path below Aetheric Plaza. Correct. After you, Sapphire. This will be a cobbled together video. As the joyous look on Raha's face has undoubtedly informed you, this is Baldessian Annex. If you continue uphill, you arrive at the doorstep of Phenomenon, but I think we've explored enough for one day. We can take you there another time. Inside with you, then. I'm back and I brought Sapphire and Raha with me. Ah, you were right about the ship then. Hello, Raha, it's nice to see you again. It is a pleasure to meet you, Sapphire. I've heard many tales of your exploits. Ojika? Sunjinka? It's been an age. Let me introduce Ojinka Sunjinka, Administration Officer of the Students of Baldessian. He oversees the day-to-day business of the Annex. The Champion of Eorzea has featured prominently in Crow and Grauhaus reports, so for me, this is akin to seeing a fable hero come to life. It is an honor to make your acquaintance. This place is like the second home for students. The Isle of Val served as our main headquarters, of course, but we often had occasion to visit Charlian. Whether to make use of the city's research facilities, attend conferences, or procure supplies for distant shores. And the annex here was built to provide lodgings for members while we engage in such activities. Ever since our former headquarters, along with the isle itself, vanished, the annex has served as our base of operations. I feel like that's going to be a big thing. And yet it feels so empty with so many of us lost. The organization is shell of its former self. The day will come when we see the students rise again. But first, we must ensure that the Telefori fall. Or fail. Through that door on the left is where the main hall where we can discuss options for moving forward. Once everyone arrives, that is, you probably have time to rest before our discussions begin in earnest. I had private quarters prepared for you in the entrance, so please feel free to make yourself at home. Ah, the nap rooms. Perfect for an afternoon doze. I didn't mean to give you the wrong impression. The chambers are quite well appointed. Far more than some cheap roadside inn, you may be assured. It was simply that we were often so busy with research or exhausted from journeys abroad that we would slip into the Ardran just to steal a few wings. And thus they became known amongst the students as nap rooms, even if many such naps might last well until the following morning. Say the word, I'll be happy to show you your chamber. Hope the others won't be too long in coming. I'll wait for you all in the main hall. Feeling refreshed and alert, our colleagues should be wandering in soon, so I suggest we stay here and wait for them to join us.
Pray forgive me. I was delayed.
It's fine, Urianger. We're all here now.
Let's get down to business then, shall we? Come what may, we must prevent the Teleforoi's plans from coming to fruition. At present, I see two paths for gathering the information which may aid us in achieving that goal. The first involves an investigation into the change which has come over Charlian, not to mention the recent inscrutable behavior of the Forum. As most of you know, the 99 members of the Forum are elected from the general populace. This alone guarantees a plethora of opinion with regards to foreign policy. The bibliotheques, for example, are a group of conservatives which would have Charlian focus on recording history, while remaining entirely uninvolved in the making of it. And at the other extreme, we have advocates for proactive diplomacy and direct intervention. My grandfather Galef was one such member. as was Archon Louisois. Yet despite our diverse factions and philosophies, the recent vote to deny Eorzea's request for assistance was unanimous. Even more concerning was the fact that many cited other, more pressing duties as justification for their recalcitrance.
Fortuno's refusal in Gridania had those same undertones. 'Twas as if, having stared unblinking into the face of impending doom, he had simply turned away to pursue something more important. But what could that possibly be?
A mystery indeed, and one which I ask for your help to solve. Our future may depend on it. As for our second potential path, it concerns a request made directly to the students of Baldessian. Our organization was founded primarily to study strange and unexplained phenomena the world over. Mysterious relics and ruins, arcane disturbances, and so forth. Compared to our more isolationist Sharlayan colleagues, we have strong connections overseas, namely with scholars and academics who share our passion for the unknown. The request in question comes from one such acquaintance, Nidana, an alchemist residing in distant Thavnair. Her missive describes the sudden appearance of a tower, and the subsequent summoning of what I can only assume is a lunar primal. In response to this threat, the satrap of Radzat-Han, the individual who governs the city-state, has instructed the alchemists to find a means to deal with the spire.
The artisans of that land are heirs to an ancient tradition, one rather unlike that of their Uldan counterparts. 'Tis possible, nay, probable, that they have gleaned truths unattainable by Eorzea or her Far Eastern allies.
They do, in fact, appear to have a strategy in mind, though it will require further research. To that end, they have requested an introduction to a capable warrior shielded by the blessing of light.
Assuming we divide our forces to pursue both of Kral's lines of inquiry, then having you join the group heading to Thavnair would seem the obvious choice. But the investigation in Sharlayan is of vital importance as well. Equal, I think, to the Thavnairian one, given that the fate of the world may hinge on the results of both.
Yes, it is quite the quandary. Though it is a great imposition and an altogether too common one, our efforts would be more likely to succeed were you to lead the charge on both fronts. You are indeed our champion. As to which task to tackle first, we will defer to your decision. Let us next decide how everyone else might best be assigned. As for myself, I shall continue what I've begun in Sharlayan. I should also like to steal the services of an Archon or two.
And thereby gain access to a greater range of reading material. I will help with that.
Allow me to offer my assistance. I have some small amount of experience in the field of research.
Alize and I would also like to help, if you would have us.
Anything to understand even a fraction of what our father and the Forum might be thinking.
Of course! The more the merrier.
Right. The rest of us will make the journey to Thavnair. Thoughts? Objections?
I passed through Thavnair on my way to infiltrate the Empire. And though I'm not qualified to give a guided tour, I did gain a sense of where things lie.
I'll be happy to have you along then. So for this group, it will be you, me, and Urianger.
Give me a moment afterwards, and I'll supply you with all the details of Nadana's request. Consider this hall our rendezvous point once our respective tasks are complete. May our investigations prove fruitful.